What's up, family? This is Speech from Arrested Development. Black Power Media, I am so extremely proud of what you guys do and what you're doing. 4 years, fourth year anniversary. Well deserved, man. Congratulations. Kalanji, much love to you. Salute to you always. And peace and love from Arrested Development and also Baba OJ in spirit. Rest in peace to him. Stay strong, y'all.
Amba, I greet you in an unexpected language. That's the greeting by the Amazulu, the Zulus of South Africa. And I speak to you and greet you, Black Power Radio and Black Power Media, for the work that you're doing for liberation for us all. I've read about you recently by reading the work of Joy James. And congratulations. Keep on doing what you're doing. Do it bigger, do it blacker, do it stronger. With love, not fear. This is Mumia Abu Jamal. Amba.
What do you say when you have greetings from Mumia Abu Jamal? What do you say?
First thing is definitely free, Mumia, man. Anything that you guys can do, to support the freeing of our political prisoners, definitely do that. We are all indebted to their contributions and what they have done for our people. And so most definitely that's first and foremost. Also, shout out to Speech from Arrested Development, legendary hip hop group. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, Black Power Media, 4-year anniversary. We here.
We're here for sure, man. You know, that Mumia clip definitely caught me off guard, man. Salute to Mumia and, all of our political prisoners. Shout out to everybody out here checking us out. Black Power Media Reloaded. What's going on?
Absolutely. 4 years. 4 years. Black Power Media has been bringing you news and information that is relevant to the Black community. For 4 years, Black Power Media has been going beyond entertainment for likes, views, and shares, but really bringing you revolutionary news and inspiring us to be revolutionary in the way that we live daily. Black Power Media has inspired so many schools of revolutionary thought that this network is now home to a myriad of shows that inspire us all to continue, not only in the Black radical tradition, but in the spirit of true revolutionaries. We can't say enough about what Black Power Media has meant, how Black Power Media has continued to raise up those of us who would otherwise be voiceless, but given us a platform to talk about things that are important in our community. So this is a very special anniversary show. 4 years of Black Power Media. I can't wait for all that is going to happen today. We know that we have some very powerful guests that'll be coming on, but I'm sitting here with comrades like no other. What do we say when we have Fernando Cardenas here? When we have Rakeem Shabazz here? When we got Kalanji Changa at the helm? When we have a person like Natasha X, who's a part of our crew, Dr. Akimba Oyore, who is a part of our crew. I mean,
and when we have you,
Absolutely. Can't forget Reverend Kiana, man. We appreciate you.
Little old me.
Without a doubt.
Nah, I mean, what you touched on is real. Media is important, man. This is how you get the word out. And the machine is nonstop pushing propaganda to its people, man, and we're here to counter that. I saw something the other day that just talked about how Americans receive probably around 10,000 ads per day, right? The most propagandized people on the planet. You know what I'm saying? And so we got to have shows like this, and channels and movements like this to counteract that, man. And I'm blessed and thankful to be a part of that. Peace to all my comrades in Black Power Media. It's truly a blessing to be down with the movement.
No doubt, I second that. It's a blessing, you know what I mean? And we got to say, it's it's a lot of people that are a part of this, you know what I mean? Not just us,
Hmm.
doing the content, but everybody that's out there, watching, sharing this, everybody that's contributing in whatever way that they can, we're thankful as well, and they're a part of this just as much as us.
Absolutely. That's the family.
Mm.
The people that support Black Power Media. That's our family, man. And we all got the same goals, one common cause, which is liberation for all the oppressed.
That's right.
No doubt. Gratitude to you all for holding it down. I know y'all like he was just here a few seconds ago. One of our guests was having trouble with the link that was sent, so I was trying to make sure that he was good, and hopefully he'll be able to come on. We have a number of different guests. First of all, allow me to say salute to all of you who have supported our mission for the past 4 years. We know it's been bumps and bruises. There's been a whole lot of everything over the past year. Woo! I mean, it was like insane. But we're gonna continue to do what we do, and we're gonna make it happen. I have one of our guests is trying. I guess he's having some difficulties getting on, but I'm still gonna try my best to get him on. But for now, before we go any further, I want to start off with bringing on one of our newest members to the Black Power Media family, a brother who has been putting in work long before many of us even thought about doing work. He is a scholar, a freedom fighter. He is a brother who if he hasn't earned your respect, then perhaps you might not need any. But I want to bring in our good brother, Dr. Gerald Horne. How you doing, Dr. Horne, today?
You're on mute, Dr. Horne.
Oh, sorry. Let's see. Where is?
You're good.
You're good now.
Oh, okay.
Good to go. Good to go. How you doing, brother? Good to have you on today.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
It's always good to see you, Dr. Horne.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. First and foremost, your work has been consistent. We already know that. We are making efforts to further political education, further a historical analysis that the people can benefit from. So, we know that you have a new show on a platform called Mandala. So if you don't mind telling us about that and why it's important and why independent Black media is important in these days and times.
Well, it should be self-evident why independent Black media is important. And let me add my voice to that of Brother Mumia, Brother Speech, and congratulate you on your 4th anniversary of laying it down. I wish and hope that you'll have 4 more years, 40 more years, 4 more centuries in order to continue educating our community. Let me also say that with regard to Amandla, your comrade Buna and Fernando hooked me up with regard to that. Our next item, our next edition will be dropping shortly, I'm sure. And I'll leave it to Fernando if he has anything to add to what I've just said.
Yeah, I mean, thank you, Dr. Horne. I think the listeners are going to love this one. It's going to be dropping soon. Definitely. We got Comrade Buna doing some of the work that's left to make it real special. But Dr. Horne speaks a lot on this one about also some new work that he has coming up soon as well. So that, special surprises for the, for everybody, for the listeners, for everybody who loves, the people's historian, Dr. Horne, and all the great work that he's been putting out throughout the years. There's more coming. You know what I mean? So, and I'm gonna leave it there, and hopefully everybody tunes in, to the next Amandla, which I believe is the 3rd Amandla so far, right? Number 3.
I believe so. I believe so.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Far as from where you sit, Dr. Horne, you know, it's 2025, and it seems like we're on the eve of Armageddon, as Comrade Daruba would say. My question to you is, where do we go from here, and why should we continue to move forward? Because a lot of folks are falling off, and a lot of folks are, win right now. So I just kind of want to ask you what's your thoughts? Where do we go from here?
Well, the good news is that our historic foes in the North Atlantic community are fragmenting and breaking up. You might have seen this extraordinary exchange in the Oval Office between Mr. Zelensky and Mr. Trump. I thought they were going to throw blows at one another. And that marks, in my opinion, a step towards the liquidation of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, coming into existence 75 years ago on a platform devoted to anti-communism, to destruction of the Soviet Union, to undermining of African liberation movements, etc. But it's clear that they're going through a crisis right now because Mr. Trump is about to slap sanctions on the European Union, as he has done with regard to Canada, Mexico, and China. At the same time, we know that the African Union and the Caribbean community are having a summit in September 2025, face-to-face summit following a virtual summit in 2021. And the agenda item will be reparations. I'm suggesting, and others are suggesting, that we send delegations to Ethiopia where they'll be meeting in order to press an agenda calling for sanctions against the Trump regime in light of the depredations perpetrated against our community, police terror, not least the fact that so many of our brothers and sisters are incarcerated or on death row, for example. So, in other words, despite the storm clouds overhead, I can already look down the road and see openings for our movement to advance. And if and when that takes place, certainly BPM will be there with its megaphone, amplifying our radical, our revolutionary, and our progressive messages. So all praise is due to BPM.
Hey, Dr. Horne, we appreciate that. We have another guest who's having trouble getting on, so we're going to just have more via speaker if that's all right. Brother, you available?
Oh, yeah.
Can you all hear?
Yeah, we here.
Okay. Dr. West.
Yes, indeed, my brother.
You're live, brother.
Oh, I'm live right now. Oh, Lord, I'm just so very blessed to be here because this is the 4th anniversary of the brothers and sisters who've been holding up a bloodstained banner for Black freedom, and I'm just glad to be a small part of it. And when Brother Kalanji called, of course, I always come running, even if I got to jump off a cliff, because I know the law of gravity can be violated in the name of solidarity.
Right on, right on. We definitely appreciate you. We got Dr. Horne on here, so I feel like like a kid in a candy store.
Gerald Horne, the great historian himself.
Right.
Right on, right on, right on. We appreciate
Lord. You got Brother Gerald up there too?
Brother Gerald. Yeah, we got Brother Gerald. Yes.
Brother Gerald Horne. Yeah.
But you got Brother Gerald Horne, but you got Brother Ball too.
Oh no, this is wrong platform. He ain't on here no more.
There's a different platform.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
I got you. I know we've been together before, but I got you. Yeah, all of us been together. But no, Brother Kalanji, man, the work that you have been doing is just magnificent. We're in a gangsterized moment. It's been gangsterized for a long time, but it's now getting crystallized. When you see the crystallization of gangsterization and the war on poor people and working people, especially Black folk, indigenous folk, and immigrants, we just got to be fortified. That's all. We just got to be more fortified. And right, that's exactly what you're doing, Brother Kalanji.
We appreciate it. We definitely appreciate it. And I ain't gonna hold nothing against you. I'm gonna just ask you this one particular question because I know that like I said, that we had to do the phone thing. But right now we're in this quote unquote Trump era. We know you ran, and I want to know what do you feel where we headed right now, brother?
Well, I mean, we're headed right now. We're dealing with fascism. It's already here. It had been manifest a number of different ways, but the war that Malcolm talked about, February 16, 1965 in Rochester, 5 days before he was assassinated, is now being much more manifest, more directly, more raw. And we have to be stronger. Now, you know, we just lost Jerry Butler, though, brother.
Yes, yes.
Remember, Gamble, Huff, and Jerry Butler wrote that song, Only the Strong Survive.
Right on. Right on.
Only the strong survive. We got to be strong. We got to be morally and spiritually great. That takes the form of serving the people, telling the truth, and having enough love to sacrifice for the people and live and even die for the people. That's the only way we keep the bloodstained banner alive, my dear brother. And that's exactly what you're doing.
Hey, brother, we appreciate you always. Revolutionary love. We're going to stay on the right side of the fence, the right side of the barricade. And we definitely appreciate you making the effort to tap on in. You know, every now and then, you know, we have issues. I know that it was as far as the state was concerned, I know they wasn't going to have Gerald Horne and Cornel on the screen at the same time. That's against the laws of gravity.
But if I could get to this darn StreamYard and all this Facebook thing I never had to deal with before, I would do anything because, I mean, Brother Gerald Horne, I just had to interview Truth Out, and I was telling the folk that they just don't come more brilliant, courageous, visionary, consistent as Gerald Horne. And he's in Texas now, you know what I mean? Lord have mercy. All those Ivy League degrees, he's loving everyday people in ways that we don't have a language for, and his unbelievable prolific production of quality and longevity of integrity as a freedom fighter and erudite scholar is beyond language too. So to be able to be on the screen with him would have been something. He and I spent some good times in Florida and other places, of course. And he's always been so loving to me, just like you, Brother Kalanji. Always been loving to me, though, brother, and I appreciate it. Love includes correction. You know what I mean?
So good.
All of us need to be corrected now. No doubt about that.
Amen.
But the most thing is we got our eye on the people struggling, resisting.
That's right.
That's the key. That's the key, though, man.
Definitely, brother.
Lord. But I salute you, and I'm just so sorry that it didn't work through in this way, but I thank God that the phone is working, because I just want to be a small part of this magnificent moment of celebration tied to resilience and resistance and remembrance of the great ones that came before and still fighting for a future for those friends who know and call the wretched up earth, my brother.
Yes, sir, brother. Keep on swinging, and we're going to win in spite of ourselves, brother.
I hear you. Love you. Love all of y'all, though.
Yes,
definitely.
Sir. We love you as well. Appreciate you, brother. Be safe, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, man.
No
Stay
doubt.
strong now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right on, good people. We are live and direct. This is Black Power Media, and we are reloaded. You know, and I know that, and you know, too. I'm not gonna act like like we don't know what time it is. There has been some confusion over the past year, you know, as to what direction things have gone in. But we must say that the struggle continues, the movement continues. We are fighting for liberation. Over the past year, we've seen some greatness. We've rebuilt Black Power Media. We look at the screen right now. We have folks like Reverend Kiana Jones-Moore, who's been putting in work on the streets of Atlanta, smashing the whole Cop City situation. We have folks like Fernando and Buna out in France who dared come jump in the ring with us. They're like, man, you know, I'm like, these dudes ain't too bright. They're gonna come hang out with me. You know, they've been doing phenomenal work. Brother Rakeem Shabazz, Professor Griff, with his show Arm the Masses, which comes on Mondays and Wednesdays here on Black Power Media. Folks like Dr. Joy James, and so many others that we'll be seeing momentarily. The Rise Up Morning Show, the International Morning Show. We're grateful for that. Buna, what's happening, man? You know, we see Dr. Horne more than we see you these days. What's up with that?
That's right, man.
And then he got his mic on mute. He's gonna try to act like he don't know the work thing now.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, you know, these are very dangerous times. We have to be, we have to act very careful. The white supremacists are on our backs. So that's why I speak from time to time to get advice from Dr. Horne, because I think he's one of the greatest advisors and analysts that we can have in these very
Absolutely.
difficult times. I mean, obviously we're laughing right now, but we might be crying tomorrow because
Right on.
you guys have Trump in the U.S., and I think that's the worst political leader that you can ever have. But we're also dealing with issues here in France with the rise of white supremacist parties, which ironically are getting surprised from Trump because most of them have been supporting Trump, but you know, Trump is fighting them right now. With the 25% taxes that he just imposed on them. So Trump might be some of the 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 the, the unexpected enemy of our enemies, right? So yeah,
Well, I think the whole Europe has Trump.
Right.
The world has Trump. You all talking about we got it like these invisible borders of boundaries count. The reality is white
That's true.
supremacy is one thing that has multiple heads, multiple prongs, and it's all the same program, regardless of what colony we resist under. So I'm glad and honored to have you brothers and sisters as comrades. And I think that the most important thing is us understanding our role. I think that oftentimes we all try to play in different lanes, and we end up with accidents. And we must stay in our lane, and we won't have accidents. It'll be a little bit easier if we can do what we're supposed to do, because we're talking about nation building. I want to for folks who are new to some of you, if you don't mind, just you know, doing a brief introduction as to who you are, because there's folks who are checking it out right now that might not catch the morning show, or they might not catch a mandala, you know what I mean? And I think it'll be a disservice if they just see a bunch of folks on the screen and they say, okay, well, these are just a bunch of Africans. We don't know where they came from. So we can start off with Fernando, the most gangster member of the broadcast.
Peace, peace, peace. Appreciate that, Kalanji. Just wanted to say again, like I said earlier, it's an honor to be here. I appreciate all the work that, you know, y'all do and that we do together as well. I've been following the platform since, the very beginning. I was in Cuba listening, this, Kalanji, I was in Cuba listening to Renegade Culture before Black Power Media was born, And so, it's just great to be a part of this. Now, for those who don't know, I'm Fernando Cardenas, Pan-Africanist. I live in France, in Rennes. I work with the Pan-African League Umoja. Buna is my comrade in our organization. I am also, a hip hop artivist in Cuba. Did a lot of work around through hip hop around anti-racism, health and wellness within the Afro-Cuban community, and all of that. Host of the Vada Hoops podcast, here on Black Power Media, and like I said, just hearing the struggle, and saying real proud to be a comrade of all of you,
Likewise,
so
brother.
definitely. So I'm gonna let any other comrades take over.
We can go clockwise if that's cool. We start off with Rakim, because Rakim's looking nervous, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm Rakim Shabazz, man. I'm originally from Texas. I came up with Lone Star RBG, Baba Amin, and Supreme Ra, and all of those brothers out there. And I'm also a 5%er in the God Knowledge Itself in Divine Allah, which we call Dallas. I'm also the host of Wazadome TV, which I've had the honor of interviewing Dr. Gerald Horne about 3 times already, which is every time has been an honor. Also, Brother Kalanji as well. And yeah, I'm just, somebody who is, every day I wake up thinking about our freedom, man. You know what I'm saying? Every day I wake up thinking about our collective struggle. It's the most important thing outside of family to me. You know what I'm saying? And so it's only natural, man. They say, like minds begin to meet no matter where they are, whenever the work is being done, man. And so I was led here to Black Power Media through the things that I was doing on my own. I'm happy to be here. I'm honored to be here with such great people and people who actually care about our people, regardless to whom or what, people that are actually doing the work. So man, it's dope. Again, I appreciate everybody for what they contribute. And so yeah, man, that's it. I'm just a brother out here who's down for the cause, who's doing everything that he can to make knowledge born to the people.
Yeah.
My name is Kiana Jones Moore, and I'm really honored to be a co-host of the Rise Up Morning Show. I'm the newest kid on the block here, but I'm the enforcer in these streets. Not a whole lot to say about me, other than, I am who I am. I do what I do. I stand for the right thing, and I stand for justice, and I make sure that I do it right at the intersection of faith and justice. I am on a mission to get preachers and other faith leaders to get off their blessed assurance and do something in these streets, because there is no reason that we should be standing in a pulpit preaching to somebody about heaven when we can't help them get saved from a living hell. So I'm definitely committed to revolutionary struggle. It's an honor to share the screen for the first time with Dr. Horne and Comrade Buna. Definitely love all of the work that you all are doing. And again, it's just my honor to be a part of the Black Power Media Reloaded team.
Thank you for inviting me to this important anniversary, the 4th anniversary of BPM. I'm honored and privileged to be sharing the screen with such revolutionary comrades. With regard to my own work, I would do double duty by pointing you to a manla where myself and Brother Buna and Brother Fernando chop it up on a regular basis about some of the work that I've done. So rather than my describing this work, I'll direct you to a manla. And that way you can add to the count of BPM, which will, of course, hopefully attract more visitors to your site, more viewers to your potent content. Sadly and unfortunately, I have a previous engagement, so I'm going to have to duck out. But once again, thank you very much for inviting me to this important session.
Right on, brother. We appreciate your work. We appreciate you coming on board, and we appreciate you giving our platform a shot, because we know that it's not easy. we're laughing because we was introduced. We had to be reintroduced, and we give credit to our brother Buna for for saying, okay, Kalonji ain't as crazy as he appear on YouTube. And he's okay, so we can come in and do what we need to do. So definitely, I appreciate your work, Dr. Horne, and stay strong, and we'll see you soon.
Right. Good luck to you all.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Horne.
Thank you, Dr. Horne.
Yes. Brother Buna, the original Buna. They don't make them like Buna no more. What's good, man? How you doing, brother?
Which one are you looking for? The one with the cap or without the cap?
We're not sure yet. Now y'all can loosen up since Dr. Horne left. I see y'all was acting polished and distinguished. Like, what's up with y'all cats, man?
Hey, man.
Acting all nervous and whatnot, man.
No, I'm so sad that he left. I actually went to ask him a question, but anyway.
Yeah, me too. I had something for him, man.
Man, y'all wasn't gonna ask nothing. Y'all just talking trash.
Now that he left, they're like, oh yeah.
Oh man, I was just about to talk about his book.
No, I wanted to ask him about armed struggle, man, because that's a really dope book. If every look at Kalonji, whatever, man. No, I wanted to ask about that. I have my joint cocked and loaded, man. You know what I'm saying?
I believe you, brother.
Yeah, whatever, man.
I mean, you said it like I ain't believe you. I'm just sitting here. Anyway, Buna got his Frankie Beverly and Mays hat on. Can you tell us who you are, sir, for folks who aren't familiar?
Yeah, I guess I need no introduction, right? Because I'm the most requested host on BPM.
Dr. Boona Johnson. Go ahead, brother.
Buddha
What you
got the
saying?
most fans.
Dang, man.
Yeah, I've been harassed over the past 3 months. People are asking, "Where are you? We can't see you." Anyways, so for those who don't know me, my name is Buna, as you have guessed probably. I'm based in France, just like Fernando. I live in Paris, and I've been following Black Power Media for several years now, at least 5 years. And it's an honor and privilege to meet Reverend Kenyana, whose work on BPM I've been following, especially the recent interview with the Ruba and Dr. Joy James, which I really recommend. Probably one of the best interviews I've watched so far on BPM, at least in 2025. Um, and yeah, also very glad to meet virtually our brother Rakim,
Likewise, brother.
whose work I was not very familiar with, but I will definitely tune in on his podcast. And as Kalanji and Dr. Horne have mentioned, we have a monthly program on BPM, Manla. And actually, I've been editing the episode that we recorded yesterday with Fernando. So it'll probably be available tomorrow. So we talked about the relationship between African Americans and Mexico, especially in the time of Mexican Revolution.
Mm.
So, it's you know, very important, probably the most important episode of Amandla that we've recorded so far. A lot of lessons to learn for our struggles for Africans who are based in the continent and also in the diaspora. Um, so, yeah, really looking forward to continue working on BPM. I will sneak on, on Rise Up Morning Show from time to time, but yeah, I won't be able to make it every week, just like we did when we started, because it was me, Fernando, Kalanji, and other brothers and sisters. So, you know, I was thinking how I could, be here today because Kalanji has chosen the latest time possible for us to be on the show. It's almost 11:30 p.m. But
It's
whenever
11:30.
I can, yeah, 11:30. But
Well,
anyways,
Fernando picked the time, man. I don't want to throw your
Damn, Kalani. I was gonna say, Buddha, you forgot to mention that it's an honor to be on camera for you with Fernando. You know, you didn't say that part. But
you forgot about that, bro.
yeah, you forgot.
it depends which Fernando you're talking about. But anyway,
Yeah, man.
Okay.
You know, one thing that I think is important, just hearing everybody's story, is also the international aspect of Black Power Media is representative of our international struggle. You know what I'm saying? Our struggle is not just here in America. It's not just here in France. Our struggle is everywhere there are oppressed people. And I think one thing that Black Power Media has that a lot of other channels in this space may not is the representation of our brothers and sisters who are not in America or who are in different places. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's extremely important for everybody to understand because there are movements that are here to divide us. I'm not going to mention anybody's name and give them no light, but we are one people. We are African people, man, and we are all here for liberation, regardless to whom or what no matter where we are, right? And so I think Black Power Media, the Rise Up Morning Show, the things that Buna does, like we're here, man, and we are one, no matter where that plantation stop was. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not gonna let that divide us, man. And so I think Black Power Media is a great representation of that.
Definitely. I think that in this time, it is incumbent upon us more than ever to make sure that we stay and we stand, to make sure that we keep ringing the alarm, that we keep talking about the things that we have been talking about. Because, as you mentioned, the international struggle, we all have a duty and a responsibility to fight right where we are, to resist right where we are. Here in the United States, because of the state of things in this new administration, there are so many people who are like, oh, it's time to go. Let's pack our stuff and get out of here. Where is safe for Black people on
Right.
this
Where
earth?
you gonna go?
Where is safe for Black people on this earth? No matter where you go, you're going to have to resist. So you may as well go ahead and dig in and do what you need to do where you are. Get the skills that you need, whether that's community self-defense, whether that is community security, emergency preparedness, growing your own food, being interdependent with alternative economies, whatever it is, do it now and do it where you are. Because if everybody leaves this place and goes to another place, who's going to be left to fight here?
Mm-hmm.
We can't think about running just because we hear stories about how great it is in China. If I hear one more Black person telling me how great it is to be in China right now, I don't know what I'm going to do, honestly. Because what I do know is that Chinese people are extremely racist. That's what I know. So I'm not concerned about what a great communist economy they have. That's not a concern for me, because if we build community the way we should and we keep at it, we can have a great communist community right where we are in our locale. I'm not going to China for that. And I'm definitely not leaving a place where I've already put in work, put down roots, where my family is, and there are people that I love who I want to radicalize to. That's what's not going to happen. So I think we owe it to not only ourselves, but to the people who turn on Black Power Media to see what's going on, who turn on Black Power Media to get a different type of analysis, who turn on Black Power Media to get that dose of revolutionary inspiration to say, I can do this. We owe it to them to keep doing what we're doing.
Right on. You know, and I want to say something. And first of all, look with the cat drug in. I mean, look, it's always the sisters that's late. No, I'm joking.
Don't do that. Don't do that, because the Kimber's not here.
Look, I can't help. Look, Kalonji, I can't help you with that one.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I said the wrong
Don't do
thing.
that, because the Kimber is not even here.
Kalonji already know
his uterus.
Kalonji already know nobody's listening to him because he been MIA, not just late. He haven't been here. He ain't been showing up.
Why y'all bringing up old stuff? But listen, nah, definitely, Natasha, it's good to have you on board, as well as everyone else. I want to say to your point, Kiana, because of the fact that you just said something that you know that folks want to take to heart, right?
Oh yeah.
And I see someone in chat saying stop Asian hate. There's no Asian hate.
Stop co-opting language and weaponizing language over some minuscule details. That's what we need to stop doing, because that's the reason why we got people talking about or calling people anti-Semitic simply because they say free Palestine. That's what we don't do here. If we're weaponizing any language, the language is being weaponized as iron sharpens iron to build up our people. At the end of the day, I ain't telling no lies. I know what I'm talking about. And you can push back as far as you want to push back, because I ain't moving.
Reverend Kiana's in the place, ladies and gentlemen. No, but I want to, and I'm happy that we're bringing this up, because I think that the thing is, it's like whenever we stand up and declare that we roll as African people, then we're looked at as hating someone. There's no hate. There's no hate. We are original socialists. We are the original indigenous people of this planet. You understand? So there's no hatred. The thing is, to Kiana's point, unfortunately, we're constantly being pushed back. We constantly have to say, if we say Black Lives Matter, we got to say Dog Lives Matter. We got to say Cat Lives Matter. We got to say this one Lives Matter. Sometimes we just want to say that Black power is about dignity. It is about being African. It is about freedom. It is about liberation. And we don't have to bow down to anyone. We can love you, and we love and support humans. We love and support the people. That is what the deal is. But we don't have to always specify which side of the barricades we're on, because folks are absent when it comes to talking about where we are. Now, there are a lot of supporters from every particular race, gender, ethnicity across the planet. We don't deal in absolutes, but we're not going to get it twisted and act like we don't run across racist behavior. I had a situation with a native cat while we was working on Leonard Peltier's campaign recently. Dude called me on my phone, calling me boy. These are some natives, and we're gonna deal with it. We're gonna talk about him, but we're not gonna talk about his punk ass on here today. You understand what I'm saying? But what we are gonna say is we're not gonna be holding back. This is Black Power Media right here, and we must be very clear about this. We're not sidestepping. We're not trying to make people feel comfortable about themselves. We're African people, and if you want to come join what it is, and we talk about our people's liberation movement, we welcome you. But you don't get to dictate the dance. You don't get to tell us how we move or what we should do or how we should live or so on and so forth. We're the OGs of the planet. And we also the OVs, original victims of terrorism. You know what I'm saying? So don't do that over here. You can do that over on the other channel or wherever else you want to. But over here, this is it. We mean Black Power Media. And that's what it's about. Natasha. I'm sorry, Fernando.
Let me jump in real quick before we let our comrade Natasha. Man, you know, anytime we show love publicly, that's what it is. We show love for ourselves publicly. It's called hate. You know what I mean? But real quick to get back to what Kiana was saying, I think that's a crucial point, you know, that there's nowhere to run. You know what I'm saying? We have to struggle for our people and for our liberation, no matter where we at. There's nowhere to run. Like, even I know people want to go off grid and all of this. Like, even when you go off grid, like, the enemy has gotten to the soil, to the rivers, to our blood. It's plastic in our bloodstream right now. You know what I'm saying? There's nowhere to run. There's no plan B. We got to struggle for liberation. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we need to understand. Doesn't matter where, depending on where we are, certain tactics are going to be different. You know, it's going to be different ways to struggle and different ways, you know, but no matter where we at, we have to do something for the just aspiration of African people, for our liberation, no matter where we at. You know what I mean?
Fernando, and one thing too, like, we can't, let's not get it twisted. African people have struggled for the liberation of non-African but oppressed people for the longest, right? Like, whether they Asian, whether they Native, whether they, you know, quote unquote Hispanic, wherever we found oppressed people, we have sided with their cause. We are always on the right side of history when it comes to revolution. And so I just had to say that.
No doubt. Natasha, for folks who are new to you and might not have checked out Rise Up or any of the other shows or whatever that you've participated in, can you give people an introduction as to who you are and, you know, what your role is here?
Yeah, peace, everyone. I'm here to celebrate with my comrades here, you know, who I do the Rise Up Morning Show with. So I'm also on the Rise Up Morning Show with Kalanji sometimes when he show up. Undugu Fernando, my sister Kiana, my brother Rakeem, Buna, who used to be on there with us as well, but me and Buna are also on the Amandla show that comes on every fourth Sunday at 8 a.m. on Black Power Media. So, you know, I'm on those shows, but I also help out in other ways behind the scenes. And yeah, that's it for those who don't know me. And I'm also an organizer. I'm based in Brooklyn. Do a lot of work with political prisoners, helping to free political prisoners with the Northeast Political Prisoners Coalition. Yeah. So I think that's good for the people.
Right on. No, and definitely we appreciate that. And I want to shout out, speaking of behind the scenes, we got May on the boards today. Shout out to May, who's been a part of Black Power Media from the beginning. You know, going back those 4 years we're talking about. Shout out to Liliana on the political education side. Shout out to our brother Isaac, who is also a host on the Rise Up Morning Show. You know what I'm saying? Who's also been working hard. Shout out to Professor Griff. Some of the other shows that we have on here, we have, and y'all can help me out because I'm getting young. We have Daughters of the Whirlwind. Shout out to Daughters of the Whirlwind. We have U.S. Political Prisoners and You, which is another program. I think we'll be joined by Frank soon. Warriors Class.
Vital Hoops.
Vital Hoops. Look at that. Kiana gonna try to throw Fernando the ball real quick.
I feel like Kalanji's boycotting me right now.
We charge colonialism.
We charge close. Indeed, we charge our sister platform who don't like to know that we're related. We charge colonialism. Our brother Ikemba. Look at you. I didn't even think about Ikemba.
Hey man.
Tiana brought up the Kimba earlier. She, so she was thinking about him
Earlier. When was that?
Yeah.
when I got on.
I'm always thinking about Ikemba. I am literally the president of the Ikemba fan club, but Ikemba never gets enough beauty rest to show up when I'm here.
Shout out to the Dougal, Professor Ikemba.
Dougal Professor. He not rose up in the ranks, huh? Well, I tell you, man.
Hey, that's
we got rupturing the aesthetics, man. We didn't mention that.
Yes.
Indeed. That's another show that comes on Thursdays. In fact, for folks that don't know, we have a magazine. It's called Afro Pick, and there is a schedule in this new issue that dropped today of all the shows that are on BPM. We have a few new shows that will be coming up, and you have to stick around to know what it's about. Shout out to Anthony D. I appreciate Anthony D because he followed us from, I remember him from when I was on the other platform. A lot of folks, decided that, they would take sides and all that stuff. We appreciate truth. We appreciate folks that are for our liberation, period. You know what I'm saying? It's not a personality thing. We don't get caught up into that. We don't get caught up in that. We're caught up in the work. And over this past year, not even a year, we're looking at Black Power Media, which we call Black Power Media Reloaded, because of the fact that we want you all to know that we're taking it to the direction that some of us envisioned from the beginning. And this is what we're doing. And it's about our culture. It's about liberation. Again, as I talked about a few seconds ago, to declare yourself an African in these days and times is a revolutionary act in and of itself. Folks are down to be any and everything but African.
Yep.
And the insanity about it is the fact that, again, this is the mother of civilization. This is where it all began.
Mm-hmm.
And propaganda, imperialism and colonialism, Zionism, it's taken it to such a way that you are ashamed. You're ashamed to call yourself African. You know what I'm saying? Some of you will still call yourself a Negro before you call yourself African.
Yep.
You want to be African American. You want to be African, Afro-European, and all kinds of other crazy shit. I don't understand it, but
I've seen people be so ashamed to be African. They make, obviously a mythical origin story has to come from this. There will even be damn extraterrestrial, my brother, before they I've seen it literally. I wish I was.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying?
I had a brother arguing with me talking about what, and I told him, man, I said, it don't matter if you came from a slave ship or a spaceship, we're in the same shit. You know what I'm saying? So you can come and try to be unique if you want to, but it's like what Dead Prez said back in the day, everybody want to be somebody better than everybody. You know what I mean? I need to say today, for me, and this is just me, and I'm not interested in throwing darts or rocks at anybody because of the fact that I'm not a virtual cat. You know what I'm saying? I get physical in the real world. So I ain't trying to do tight buys. I ain't trying to just, throw stones at folks in their glass houses. I'm saying for me, last year was a test. It was a testimony. You know what I'm saying? I got to sit down with Mumia, and some of you might have heard me say this before, but to me it means something because this is one of my heroes. I got to sit down one-on-one and rap with Mumia. I got to sit down with Leonard Peltier. I got to see Leonard Peltier come up out of the dungeons a couple weeks ago after 49 years. We dropped 2 books in the last 6 months. 2. We rebuilt a platform. We started a whole morning show. We got international shows. The majority of the shows that exist on Black Power Media right now, they're new shows. We dropped a magazine, Afro Pick. So
shout out,
we can, listen, we can sit here and you could bump your gums or you could put that work in. And all of us on this screen and all of us that are part of this particular platform, it's about work. We don't hate nobody. We ain't trying to diss nobody. You know what I'm saying? In the words of Malcolm, our religion teaches us to be peaceful, to be courteous, obey the law, respect everyone, If somebody put their hands on you, send them to the cemetery. And like you said, that's that good religion. That's that old time religion. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the House of Ogun, the work that's being done here in Atlanta. You understand what I'm saying? Shout out to all the FTP movement, the organizational work that's going on. You know, shout out to all of these organizers on this platform right now, because everybody belongs to a different organization all over the world, internationally, like the brother just said. You know, it is a blessing. I'm saying to you all, the official date, the start date of Black Power Media was February 17th. That was the birth of UEP Newton, and also the death of Khalid Abdul Muhammad. The 18th, again, on the 17th, we was in Florida, we was working on Leonard's campaign, so on and so forth. The 18th, Leonard walks out, and also the book Revolution in These Times, the book we have with Daruba, dropped the same damn day, which happens to be my mother's birthday, which happens to be the assassination of Dedan Kamati. You know, so it was a big day, it was a big week, but I couldn't allow this anniversary to go by unnoticed and unchecked.
Sure.
Yeah, and I mean, just to the point that you all were making before, because you know I'm hopping on, but I can't stay on for long. So I wanted to just like chime in a little bit in terms of the discussion that I jumped in on when we came on, but also I think like speaking to why it's important to have something like Black Power Media, why it's important to have like the shows that we do have on Black Power Media. There's a James Baldwin quote that says, to be African in America is to be African without memory, and American without privilege. And so that's, I think, the conundrum that we're talking about, right? Is to be African without memory. That like when you look at yourself in the mirror and when you see yourself, you're an African person, but you have no memory of that, because what they've told you is that is not you. That is not something that you need to care about. That was just, your ancestors when they came here 400 years ago. By now, you should forget that African stuff. You need to move on. But we know that we can't move on, because there is no moving on unless you know that, because you're moving on to where. And I think, part of the thing, especially with those of us here in the United States, or snakes, as some like to call it, that we have become isolated. Like when people talk about how we're in a, like when you're in an abusive relationship, what do they want to do? They want to isolate you. They want to make sure that, you have no contact with the rest of your people. They want to make sure you forget who you are. They want to make sure that you're completely dependent on them. And so that's the experience that we know African people here in the US have had with, Europeans in the state for so long, is this, toxic relationship of, forcing you to forget, of alienation, cultural alienation, familial alienation, communal alienation. So that way you forget, you have no cultural memory, no heritage memory, nothing that binds you and holds you, so that you're just something that's swaying in the wind and can be picked up and, moved around and pushed around in any way we see fit. And so it goes back to what Sister Kiana was saying about then why people want to latch on to other people's cultures that are not ours, right? Why they want to pedestalize them as, because they don't feel like they have a culture that is theirs. They don't feel like they have a rooting, a heritage that is able to like really give them that kind of pride and structure that is necessary. And we know when we had like you were talking before, the Black Power movement, before then, Martin Luther King, when we were talking about him, for the month of January, he knew he was African, right? But so as much as he, would work to fight, and talk about America and getting it to another place, he was very clear that he was African. Malcolm X was very clear that he was African. All, Huey P. Newton, Fred Hampton, the Black Panthers, so many organizations that we could talk about, they all knew and understood that they were African. And it wasn't something about a fad. It wasn't something, because it was popular. Like, no, they understood. And that's what allowed them to move and create in the ways that they do. So I do think that, like, if people think that if African people think that they're going to be able to go somewhere else, being unrooted in their Africanness and create something that's going to be sustainable and fruitful, and in terms of not just sustainable for your individual self right now, but for something more and bigger than you, it's not going to work because you're not rooted. You don't have a good foundation. It's just like you don't build anything without a good foundation. When we think, when we're thinking about, you're not going to build a house if it doesn't have a good foundation. When people come around and they're checking homes before you can buy the home. If there's something wrong with the foundation, they tell you that you need to fix it. That you can't move on without fixing that foundation. And so I think that, we've been in this toxic relationship pushed away from, claiming and being able to identify ourselves as African people, because it's such a threat. Being an African, to call yourself an African, is such a threat to white supremacy, to global hegemony, to global colonialism and imperialism that is still continuing today. And that's why they had to, that's why they decided to murder all of the people that they did. And that's why they decided to make sure that you don't get to go around and call yourself African anymore. They want you to call yourself American. That's why, you see such an Americanized push, especially in today's times, people wearing, the American flag. Beyonce came out with an album and everybody want to be an American and all this other stuff. And go back to what James Baldwin said, right? But yet at the same time, you're doing all of this, where your privileges, where are they? If you had anything that you did have, they're stripping them away. Why? Because you've always been an African, but without memory, you've always been an African here, and you've always been at odds with the establishment. And what's good for them is not always going to be good for us. Most of the time, and maybe all the time, it's going to be against us, whether you see it right now or you see it 20 or 30 years down the line.
Right on.
Absolutely.
That right there was necessary and refreshing. And this particular episode, this is for you all. You know what I'm saying? This is for the viewers. It's for the folks behind the scene. It's for you all that host this platform. You all that believe in liberation. This is why this show had to be done. This is why this episode had to be done. Not for me. This is my life. This is our life. So if it's 2 people watching this or it's 2 million people watching it, we still coming at the exact same pitch.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We give thanks because we look back at some of the greats that we had on this platform. We take certain things for granted. We did a show yesterday. We talked about Perry Ray Robinson, a brother who yesterday was the 52nd year commemoration of Wounded Knee. And one thing that's never talked about is this African that was murdered on Wounded Knee on Pine Rock, in Pine Rock, and who was buried, and no one talks about him. No one talked about the fact that this black man came out there to help these natives and was dead within 24 hours. So we had his widow on the show yesterday. We had the widow's attorney, them just making an effort to get his body back after 52 years. Perry Ray Robinson was a freedom fighter, someone who aided and assisted all types of different movements and formations, but the majority of us never heard of them. There's so many unsung heroes. And that is why Black Power Media is necessary. We just had Dr. Gerald Horne and Dr. Cornel West on the platform. You know what I mean? We don't take anything for granted. We don't have a budget.
Can't forget Jalil Muntakim, who spent 49 years in the belly, been on here.
Jalil Muntakim, Daruba Ben Wahad, Sekou Odinga, Rise in Power, Blood McCrary, Rise in Power. You know what I'm saying? Numerous different folks from all walks of life. And we don't take it for granted, and we don't look at it like it's some type of like it's some type of game. We're looking at this thing right here. And we look at some of the hosts at the top, and we look at some of the past guests. We mentioned Sekou. Mumia has been on the platform 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Dr. Greg Carr, Cynthia McKinney, The Last Poets. Boots Riley, Seyoon Kuti, Chuck D, Dream Hampton, Mark Lamont Hill, Jessica Care Moore, Wise Intelligent, Muhammad Ahmed, so on and so forth. Dead Prez, Charles Barron, you know, all types of folks in the Black Panther Party, Move, etc. And I'm showing you this not for bragging rights, but we understand what we're up against. And why do these people stop doing rock with us? Because they know that we are sincere about what it is we're doing. And they know that we're serious about our people's liberation movement. And so no one can take that away. No one can take that away. This is a propaganda machine that we're using. We're clear we're on YouTube. We're clear that they can unplug us at any time. Yes, we're working to get our own service, so on and so forth. But we need you all to support our mission. You see what we do. These people on the screen right here, all the time. It's nothing for me to go anywhere across the US or abroad, and folks are like, hey, I didn't know you was working with such and such. I didn't know such. Literally, no BS. I'm down at we were down in Tampa for Leonard, and 3 different folks came up to me talking about Kiana. You know Reverend Kiana? I'm like, yeah, I met her before. She ain't really all that. She's got a collar and a megaphone. I can get a collar and a megaphone. But nah, seriously, it's like we're down there talking about political prisoners, and they're talking about Cop City. You know what I'm saying? They're talking about Dr. Joy James. They're talking about, and folks like Boone and Ikemba, I don't know why. But you know, the Tasha Fernando, Rakim, the whole nine. I am just as grateful for you all to be on this platform than anybody I just named, anyone that I just named in regards to the quote unquote notables, because of the fact that I know your heart, I know your spirit, I know your energy, and it's been proven. And that right there, I will forever have your back as long as you're on front.
Yo, I can remember the very first Rise Up morning show on Black Power Media Reloaded. Wow. I was trying to do some work, and I was getting my son ready for summer camp, and I get this WhatsApp message, and it's Kalanji like, yo, we about to be on. And I was like, oh, they about to be on what? But it was the Rise Up morning show, and there I see Natasha, I see Buna, I see Kemba and Fernando, and Daruba was on that very first show.
Yeah, sure was.
That y'all did of the Rise Up morning show. And literally, I sent the link to a few people who I know were associated with the former network, because a lot of us had, we're like, all right, I don't know if that's the thing anymore, but we see some people for who they are, and we see that there's just some Mickey Ficky stuff going on, and people ain't really being 100, so we're gonna fall back. And I don't know why, but people were, and Kalanji will attest to everything I'm saying, like people were literally fighting tooth and nail to keep me and Kalanji from ever contacting each other. They didn't want us to come face to face. They never wanted us to be in the same spaces together, virtual or in person, but somehow the universe does what the universe does when righteous people are working. The universe brought us together, and Kalanji was like, look, sis, I don't know when we're ever going to meet face to face, but this is what I got going on. And from that very first Rise Up morning show, I've been tuned in to Black Power Media, because what I've seen, and this is Black Power Media Reloaded, but I was tuned in to the Rise Up morning show, and then we got other shows coming on, and Kalanji knows one of my favorite shows to watch is U.S. Political Prisoners and Youth. And then the next thing you know, here comes Vital Hoops. And I'm like, who is this little Fernando over here? Like, for the people, by the people, for the culture. Like, he's got Fernando's cadence, intonation, everything. But Vital Hoops is giving us information. And what I see is that on Black Power Media Reloaded, there is definitely a Pan-Africanist global perspective. And that is where the power comes in, that we are not disconnecting ourselves from the global struggle for liberation. And I really do not see another network doing it the way that Black Power Media Reloaded is doing it. And I am so appreciative. From the first time that I ever laid eyes on any of you on a screen, I saw that the work was being put in. And I'm especially appreciative of Buna and Fernando right now, being that it is about midnight where you are. I can't tell you how much it means that you're still here.
Don't even remind Buddha, because Buddha looking for a way out. He like
Buddha
yeah.
might be on punishment. He might be on punishment for the next couple of weeks.
He done took his hat off, so you already know.
That's why I've been quiet for 30 minutes. You know, like,
yo, bro. You know, indeed, we appreciate you, and I know for folks that are watching, yes, Fernando and Buna are in France, and it's like, what time is it over there right now?
We're 6 hours ahead, so it's 12:13 midnight.
Okay, it's midnight. Now I know y'all can cut out whatever you want to. Buna look like, listen, man, you know what I'm saying? I'll be sleeping on the couch outside or something. You know what I'm saying? It's midnight, I'm making noise, you know what I'm saying? You know, but nah, we definitely you know, seriously, man, we appreciate, you know, all that, you know, everyone is brought to the table, and you know, we're looking forward to continuing to advance, continue to move forward. For folks who are checking us out, yeah, we got how they say, we got merch. You know what I'm saying? Go to blackpowermedia.org, get a t-shirt, get a mug,
Get the book.
get a book. Thank you.
Yeah.
I like Raheem. You know what I'm saying? Get a book. But also, you know what I'm saying, support our Patreon, because these people on the screen right now, they don't need to be working no regular job. We have to be able to support and sustain. You know what I'm saying? We've already proven that we've given what we can give. So if you all feel it in your heart, your soul, your spirit, and your mind, and your energy, and in your pocketbooks, that's how y'all know I'm old school, pocketbooks. My daughter be like, what is a pocketbook? Like, shut up. But anyway,
like your change purses.
See, nobody asked Natasha anything. But anyway, no, so we, you know, so definitely, man, you know, support what it is we're doing. Again, go to patreon.com/Black Power Media Reloaded, patreon.com/Black Power Media Reloaded, and download the new latest edition of Afro Pick Mag. I think it's kind of dope, personally.
And I will also add that I think make sure to, when we say, you know, share, make sure you're sharing. Like Sister Kiana also said, she sent the message out. I find myself like being in random situations, talking to Black people randomly in the streets, or, you know, and I'm somewhere and we're talking Black stuff, and then they're like, yeah, okay, so where can I get some more information? I'm like, okay, well, so, you know, there's a show called The Rise Up Morning Show on Black Power Media Reloaded, and they'll, you know, write it down on their phone. And so just make sure, like, even in everyday conversations, because I think one of the things that happens is, you know, we can become frustrated at, you know, what our people know and what they don't know, more specifically, right? Or what they are doing. But I find, and I feel like I've been finding a lot more, like, in, you know, when you're just having regular conversations with just a stranger, a Black stranger, and particularly for me, and you're talking about what's happening, it's a teaching moment, it's a teaching tool. You know, you're ending up telling them things that they, you know, even if they're not political, and you're telling them certain things, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, oh yeah, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. And so, you know, I definitely, like, in sharing, like, talk to your neighbors, and, you know, you're on the train, or you're on a plane, or you in the emergency room, or you in, you know, a storm or a store, or whatever, wherever you are, have those conversations. And then, you know, when you need to let them know, how do I learn more? How do I get to know more? Because tell them about Black Power Media. Tell them that this is where you can come and get your education. You know, you can get your memory back as an African person.
No doubt. Can we talk about Rise Up Morning Show, since all of y'all happen to be hosts on the show? Buna is a host from time to time. I think that I'm not gonna say what I want to say right now, because, you know, the views and opinions of the rest of the platform may not be Kalanji Changa's. But anyway, I mean, can you all, for folks who haven't tuned in to Rise Up Morning Show, tell them what Rise Up Morning Show is, and why they should get involved, and when it comes on? And I feel like we should change that time back, because 7 o'clock kind of early. But anyway,
too early for the people.
I don't know who came up with that.
I
Yeah,
agree. I don't know who came up with that, but
yeah, I think Fernando or somebody. But
people mostly show up at 8 o'clock anyway. You be on
okay,
at 7 o'clock by yourself.
so we who Fernando? You
No,
said
like if we doing a live in the morning, just like we be on for an hour, and then at
before
8
everybody else come on.
closer to 8
Yeah,
o'clock, then that's when people really start rolling in.
we might switch back to 8 o'clock. We're gonna see, man. We might have to do a vote and see what
We
it
need
is.
the people to vote, man. I think we need the people to vote.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a good
okay.
idea.
Yeah.
Look, hey, Rakeem said that quick. Like, yeah. Let's change that 8 o'clock. I've been up
7
all
is
night
early.
with the baby. Yeah,
Yeah, man. 7 is early, dog.
yeah, it is. I don't know who came up with that BS. But anyway,
You know, I kind of wanted to build just real quick, man, on something that, when I first met Brother Kalanji, and I just want the people to know, like, it's not just it's Black Power Media is not just a bunch of talking heads talking, right? It's people who are actually in their communities, people who actually care about liberation. One of the first things that Kalanji asked me whenever I met him was like, all right, so who you know out there, right? And I began to build with him about who I knew, how I came up, and that was important just because to distinguish people who, because anybody can get online and say anything, right? But I just need y'all to understand that the people that y'all see are people who are really active, people who really care about the community, people who are really out here fighting for liberation. It's not just doing something for views. It's not just trying to be the biggest media platform we can be. It's really about liberation. It's not about anything else. We are here to definitely entertain, you know what I'm saying, as well as educate, you know what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, liberation is the goal, and that's the goal of everybody on Black Power Media.
That's right.
I appreciate that, Rakeem. I'll be sending you your check for that wonderful shout out.
I appreciate it.
So soon as I get it,
Send him Bitcoin, dog.
we're gonna send Frank. Boona, we got Frank. So what we sending, brother?
Frank.
Okay. So anyway,
Euros.
yeah. So Natasha, I know you got a role, but if you don't mind telling us what Rise Up International Morning Show is, because that's how we do. When somebody said they got to go, we got to give them an extra task before they leave. That just wouldn't be right if we didn't do that.
Oh, I know all about that. I know all about going over time when somebody got to leave.
Wow.
No, I'm talking about myself.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think the Rise Up International Morning Show. I think I came onto it. I think a couple weeks when me and Kalanji finally got in touch. But as Brother Rakeem was saying, it was kind of like understanding that you're joining something and you're going to be part of something with people who are really about that, are really doing the work. Like even before I met Kalanji, I knew his name. Like I knew who he was. And like recently I was reading some research on like indigenous African knowledge systems in terms of like weather forecasting. And they were talking about like the ways in which in Ethiopia, in this particular part of Ethiopia, they come to get the weather forecast. And one of the things, they have these people who go out into different other neighboring communities, and one of the things they always ask them, along with some other questions about like what's going on, like what's the weather, who are you getting this information from, but also they ask them like, okay, whose people are you, like where are you from, who's vouching for you or whatever. And so this practice that we have of coming to say, okay, who are the people that I'm working with, who are you from, like who are you connected to, is a very important practice, I think, especially when we think about liberation work, because a lot of the times when we think about the history of how we were infiltrated, right, people will come around and you don't know who they are, and they're not connected to nobody, and that really leaves us open. And we know that in a time of war, as we've been in for many hundreds of years at this point, that it's important to have those things. And that's also part of like the extended network of community. And so that's what I feel like the Rise Up Morning Show is an extended network of community, globally and locally in a way. And what we do is we help to put the whole story together. We know that there's an African proverb that says like, many hands make light work, in that, you know, one mind doesn't hold all knowledge. And so that's why it's important for us to be in these types of global international networks of community together, in ways that we understand, and in ways that we sometimes before it even happens, like, you know, Sister Kiana's like, you know, as the universe put it, you come into community with people.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think the Rise Up Morning Show is. And I think the uprisers who be up with us understand that as well. And even those who tune in, they're also part of that global community of us, you know, sharing knowledge and building knowledge and creating knowledge together. So that's what I would say about the Rise Up Morning Show.
No doubt. We appreciate all you do, Natasha, you know, as far as trying to help to keep the crew intact. Natasha said we supposed to have a meeting, but some of them, I'm gonna call everybody out right now. Folks are fronting.
Go ahead.
Like, what?
Go
They
ahead.
like, what? 20 minutes? That's a long time. 20 minutes. Who got 20 minutes to meet? I can give you 5.5. But we appreciate, you know, your work. And also shout out to Efemina, our intern. We are looking for interns. We got one intern. One.
And we
Just
know
one.
we looking at why that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Boona was supposed to got some more interns. Him and Kiana, but somehow they didn't connect. I don't know.
I would have blamed it on Ikemba, but Kiana's gonna get on me.
Oh, okay.
You know what? I really just might let Ikemba get all the smoke, because I show up for Ikemba in certain ways.
Well,
And then I look around for Ikemba.
where you at?
We don't know. We don't know. But shout out to Ikemba. Ikemba just
Shout out to
celebrated
Ikemba,
another
yeah,
Earth Day.
absolutely.
So
Yeah, no doubt. Shout out to Dungu.
I believe
Shout out
Ikemba's
Isaac.
still
Shout out Isaac
celebrating.
as well.
No doubt.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely shout out to little brother Isaac.
Yeah,
Look, Isaac is the hardest working man. The way they used to say hardest working man in TV. Isaac is the hardest working man on Decolonial Network Media.
Yeah, he got like 8 jobs.
He does. He does.
He angry. Vein about to pop out the side of his head. Like, what's wrong, Isaac? I'm sick of this. We need revolution right now. I'm like, okay, chill, bro. Anyway, I noticed when y'all started talking about Kimber, Natasha disappeared because that's that Brooklyn thing. We ain't saying that. But yeah, we have some more guests coming up in this hour. You know, again, we appreciate what all has been done and what folks have been doing to support the platform and the program. We have a whole lot of good supporters that have been riding with us for the longest, and that means a lot. And I just need y'all to know something too, because folks always talk about how many subscribers we got or how many people viewing and all that. I can't say that we don't care, but that's not really what's important. The reality is what's meant to hit you won't miss you, and what's meant to miss you won't hit you. You understand? Those who are supposed to receive the message and the information, that's who's going to receive it. And that's the bottom line. And those who don't, they won't. Some people only want to be entertained, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But as the preacher used to say, it's getting late in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting late in the evening, and there's a revolution going on, whether you know it or not. And you can jump up and down and scream and cry and talk about what Trump did and what he might do and all that. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant because he's a distraction. He's a distraction from real action. And that is what we got to keep up. We got to keep our eye on the prize. We got to say, you know what? We will survive America. We will survive the United States. We will survive France. We will survive, this planet. Because this planet is going to hell in a handbasket. I want to share with you because I've been talking about this, and this is something we have right here. This is our Patreon, right? Support what it is we're doing. We have a whole lot of good stuff on here, and we have a lot of free stuff too. So I don't want you to think that we only want you to go to Patreon and we just want your money and all that type of stuff. But go out and support what it is we're doing because of the fact that we have work to do. We're on a mission. We need to get this thing done. This is actually the newest, and shout out to May B for the cover. Shout out to Roberto for who's the managing editor. May is the layout editor. Shout out to all the contributors who have contributed to this month's issue and the last 3 issues of our magazine. Make sure, as I mentioned, you go to patreon.com/Black Power Media Reloaded. We have a number of different issues. This is our 2nd issue here with speech from Arrested Development on the cover. Our 1st issue here, the inaugural issue with Asada. This is the Black August 45th year commemoration. So make sure you support the work that we're doing. Of course, we have the magazine, we have, the website with a number of different things going on there. But again, it would be great to have your support, because we're not doing this just for the sake of, just hopping on the screen. I know some people like to just be seen, but I don't think that the folks on the screen necessarily just want to be seen. They want to get this message across. They want to use this propaganda tool to get the right information out. And as one of our comrades talk about, we're up against mercenary media. And this is not mercenary media. And sometimes mercenary media comes in conscious cloth.
Real talk.
Kiana said something, I don't think y'all heard her. She said that there were folks who made a concerted effort to keep us away from each other. Why? What was we going to do? Work. And because of the fact that some people know that just some of us being on the same screen together is a felony in most states, because we're talking about liberation. We ain't talking about partying bullshit. We ain't talking about how cute your hair is. We ain't talking about none of that. We ain't talking about we ain't just throwing rocks at black folks, because some people, they real good at criticizing African people. You're hard pressed to see them big our people up. Now, they'll big up some of these quote unquote freedom fighters and these veterans because they earned for them. But when it comes to everyday people, whatever, you got all the smoke for African people. This one don't do this. This one did this. This one, I don't like the way this one says he's not right. I'm right. Some people just want to be right. Newsflash. None of us right, because we're not winning. So the thing is, we have a choice to make here. Do we want liberation or we don't? We don't have time to be beefing with African people unless they work for the state. And some of these folks, they work for the state. And I don't have to call no names, because you will see, because as Malcolm said, time will tell. When you see people go to an extreme length to discount other folks' work, to disrespect folks, to try to get folks shut down. I heard a sister say one day to me, "Oh, you do this, we'll cancel you." You can't cancel me. That shit ain't even real. What are you talking about? Cancel me. You ain't start me. How you gonna stop me? That's the weirdest shit. That's some new weirdo shit right there. We'll cancel you. I'm old school, so I was like, cancel these. Anyway, don't mind me. But I'm just saying, it's like, we have to fight to win. It's not about being cute. It's not about a bunch of numbers. It's not about who like you and who. I didn't come here to be liked. And these people on the screen, I know nobody don't like them. That's why they came to hang out with me. They thought about being like, you cancel that, buddy. But anyway, yeah, we got another co-host, another host of a platform of a show on here that we're gonna bring on. I think Kiana was talking about she liked his show and whatnot. So like, okay.
I do. Brother Frank is here.
What's the name of the show, Kiana? For you.
U.S. Political Prisoners and You.
Okay, well, look at it. Like, she said it like Frank. What's happening, man? How you doing?
Hey, peace and love, man. Just finished doing some good work with a good brother of mine in Newark, so I'm on the road. But I know you gave me my orders to log in at this time. Just want to say congratulations to Black Power Media for taking the initiative to make sure that we have our own narrative, that we deal with our own ideas, and we make our position very clear about what's necessary for our liberations. Thank you, brother.
Hey, thank you, Frank, because I already know. I think the first time we met each other, we was on someone else's platform, and I think we was on a panel or something. And
Yes, sir.
you know, but I had heard about your work around political prisoners, and I salute you hardcore because of the fact that that's one of the main reasons that Black Power Media exists, and that is to support the liberation of our political prisoners. So if you don't mind, brother, tell people what your show is about, the name of the show, and also the organization you represent, because I think it's necessary.
Yeah, so U.S. Political Prisoners and You is a show that comes on Black Power Media every Wednesday from the hours of 1 to 1:30. I'm the chairperson of the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition. The Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition was founded by a former political prisoner, Sekou Odinga. After doing over 33 years in prison, when he came home, he decided that he was not going to forget those who were still in prison. So he started the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition, and since it started, the organization was helped to free a number of political prisoners, including Jalil Abdul King. Of course, we work with other organizations, but you know, everybody's job is equally important and equally effective when you're talking about political prisoners.
No doubt. So for folks who again, some people might just slid through the day because they heard Boona was going to be on here. You know what I mean? So for folks who don't know what a political prisoner is, brother, can you break down what a political prisoner is?
Yes, a political prisoner is somebody who is part of an organization who is very serious and committed about the people's fight for their self-determination. And because of their position against the state responds in a way where it ends with them being in prison.
Right on, right on. We appreciate the work you've been doing on behalf of political prisoners. And I think you got time to stick around for a while, right?
Yes, absolutely, man. Just want to say thanks again and congratulations on the 4-year anniversary of Black Power Media. Keep it going, brother.
No doubt, brother. We appreciate you, brother. And y'all don't know, like Frank right now, he probably in like a Bentley truck or something, but he's still on behalf of the people and whatnot. We ain't gonna trip on that as long as he give me a ride. You know what I'm saying? We ain't going nowhere today because we ain't buying nothing today because we know that we on that. Frank wiping the crumbs off his mouth now, like, damn, I knew I should have went to Burger King. I'm just joking, Frank. But we have another guest on that's coming on in a second. She's no stranger to the platform, definitely a friend and a comrade to Black Power Media. And you know, one of the things I want to give her credit for is because many of us have had the opportunity to go on platforms like the Breakfast Club, and some of us have ignored that shit because we're like, look, you know, we don't want to hit somebody in the mouth, so you know, we just said no. You know what I'm saying? Like Nancy Reagan said. I don't know why I'm gonna quote Nancy Reagan, but anyway, we said just say no. But I saw this presidential candidate from the Green Party go on there and wax, you know, a few of those folks because they got on talking real slick. I want to welcome to the platform Sister Jill Stein. Jill Stein, how you doing today?
Great. I'd take Black Power Media over the Breakfast Club and every day.
Absolutely.
This is the real media. They're kind of the fake pretenders, and we tried to punch back. You know, we did a lot of punching on that show.
No doubt, no doubt. We're happy to have you on. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh my God.
And you know, it's wild because, of course, like I said, you've been on the platform several times, and here we are in, as Drew and others would say, in the land of the orange man, right? And for you, I just want to ask you, because of the fact that, you know, you ran a good race, you know, where do we go from here? Like, seeing what we're looking at electoral politic wise, you know, what's it looking like?
We keep fighting, you know. What we're seeing is, you know, maybe it's the mask has come off. This is empire. This is fascism. You know, Black Power Media held a wonderful forum forming a united front against fascism. And Daruba, who was convening that forum, was telling it like it is. And I was saying, we need to do that now. We can't wait until after the election. Fascism is here right now. And, we got a fight on our hands, whether it's a Democrat or whether it's a Republican. This is a fight that has been, at war with indigenous people, with working people, with African people all over the world. This is what empire looks like. That empire is coming home to roost now. It's things are going in some ways from bad to worse, but this is nothing new to the Black community. This is nothing new to colonial people all around the world. We're just getting a deeper taste of this medicine. But Donald Trump's campaign was funded, almost half of his funding came from 10 people. This is not widely known how absolutely, off the charts this is. This is what oligarchy looks like. This is what a kleptocracy looks like. This is the rule of by and for the billionaires. And the mask has come off. The Democrats are funded by the billionaires too, but they got more than 10. But I mean, it's mind-boggling to think that 10 people, Elon Musk was number one, and then Sheldon Adelson, the big super Zionist gambling magnate, his widow, I think, is number two. But that's who this government is for, and that's really who our government has been for a very long time. And so now the mask is off, and but the agenda that they are inflicting on this country and the world benefits only the billionaires, and there's no pretense even that this is a benefit in any way to everyday working people who are not being fooled here for a minute. And, even to look at the numbers, the tiny margin of approval that Trump had at the time of his election, that's really over. And his numbers are really plummeting. And, we see just incredible chaos. Like, I haven't yet learned the details of what went on today in the White House. But he's, or if you saw his AI movie that had the gold statue of Donald Trump towering over Gaza, if you know anything about the Old Testament, it's like, there's the golden calf, there's the golden calf. And this is like to the land of the Jews who are now worshiping a different golden calf. It's just so full of irony. This will not stand scrutiny. This cannot stand the light of day. And the incredibly toxic, psychopathic mindset that video represents is who our government is. That's who it is. But this is not where working people are. This is not where migrants are. This is not where Black people or Hispanics and Muslims. And there is an incredible vacuum right now. There's a political vacuum. And this is why the Democrats have come down so hard, and they keep assaulting our campaign, myself, the Green Party. They keep assaulting us because they're terrified. A lot of people were fooled into thinking maybe the Republicans were going to be the solution to betrayal by Democrats, which has gone on for decades. The Clintons, crime bill that just opened the floodgates to mass incarceration, or Joe Biden's student debt bill that, created student debt that you cannot escape, or the Wall Street bailouts, and the throwing millions of homeowners out of their homes at the same time they were bailing out Wall Street to the tune of trillions, and NAFTA. It's just been one insult after the other. And the Democrats have really lost their stranglehold. They lost 1,000 seats in state legislatures during Obama's term. And they lost 64 seats in Congress. They lost, 12 seats in the Senate and the same number of governorships. They really lost their stranglehold on power. It's been very tenuous ever since then. And in this election, there was the mythology that Trump was and the Republicans were somehow going to be a help. And now that's been, I think, really just shot to smithereens. And so the powers that be are very terrified right now that people are going into full-scale revolt. And we are, and that's happening. So, in terms of what lies ahead, I think it's really important to know about what happened just a couple weeks ago in South Korea. This was kind of suppressed, where their president declared martial law, and within 3 hours, their parliament had come out, and because the military had blocked off parliament, they did not want parliament to overrule the declaration of martial law. But their parliamentarians came out, they scaled the walls. There were 16,000 people who turned out within hours. And, they are now, trying that president for basically treason. He could even get the death penalty in South Korea. But this is a country that knows how to stand up and fight for its democracy. They have a strong, very strong labor and civil society that will fight back against militarism and fascism. And we need, I'd say, above all, it's the words of Frederick Douglass that power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has and it never will. We have to be that demand. And then it's the words of Alice Walker that the biggest way people give up power is by not knowing we have it to start with. And then it's the words of Malcolm X, that we are not outnumbered. We're just out-organized, and we're out-organized because we're outfunded. But, it's like the work of Black Power Media is all about that. It is about the power, people power, grassroots power, African liberation power. There's a lot of power right there, and the work that you do. And congratulations again to you on 4 really powerful years. You were a powerhouse during the election to allow our voices to be heard, and for you to have held that forum together with Daruba to try to bring together the grassroots resistance during the election, and to help us get together, which is really the name of the game. It's about solidarity. And as Daruba was saying, it's about a united front to fight fascism. It's here, and we need to use our power more than ever. But it's there, and we shouldn't be fooled. We are the targets of a ginormous psyop. There's a huge psyop going on intended to tell us that we don't have power. We do have power. We have power in our rebellion, in our numbers, in our resistance, and the name of the game in free media, in liberated media like this channel. That's where our power is, and this is all about our not allowing them to intimidate us out of it, and to scare us into silence. It's time to stand up and scream louder than ever.
Hey, Jill, we really appreciate your words, and appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to hop on. And one thing that, and you mentioned the election, of course, we've had Dr. West on, we had, what's her sister's name?
Claudia
De La Cruz. Sorry about that. Yeah. And the thing is, for you all to join us on our small independent platform.
Yeah.
We're grateful for, because we've seen you all on big screens, so on and so forth, but yet still you can stop through and hang out with with us. I know it's because of Boona you all came through, but no, we definitely appreciate it. One thing before you go, you mentioned Malcolm, and one of the things that Malcolm said, he said, democracy in America is a hypocrisy. We've seen Bush 1 and 2, we've seen Obama, we've seen the Clintons, and we are Trump's second reign. Will there ever be true democracy in the United States? We know you ran with the Green Party. This is your second campaign, I believe, right?
This was the third presidential campaign. Yeah.
Yes. So, what, do you see there being true democracy in America Will it ever return? And it's like, I want to point out that, you know, your family is of Israeli background, Jewish background.
Right.
So it's a hell of a space to be in these times. So with all this going on, I ask you, like, you know, do you feel there'll be democracy not only in the U.S. but, you know, just period? Because it's looking like, you know, it's getting late in the evening, as the preacher would say.
Yeah, it totally is. And we are, you know, I think of it like we're in an airplane and the engines have stopped and we've gone into a tailspin. And the question is, are we going to be able to pull up out of this? We've never had a democracy in this country, right? We've never had it. We've had a promise of democracy, but now we don't even have a promise of it. You know, it is a mockery of democracy now. But if we don't, you know, the American people, by a huge majority, want an end to the U.S.-Israeli genocide in Palestine and expanding, you know, into the West Bank now, Lebanon, wanting to take over Syria now, demanding to take over Syria, you know. Yet the American people said early on, by over 2/3 majority, it's over. We do not want this genocidal war. That needs to end. And then within another month or two, the American people said, the weapons to Israel should be over and done with. Our money, our tax dollars, our weapons should not be supporting this genocidal war. So the issue is not, you know, is not the support of the people. The issue is that we don't have a democracy here. And if we don't get a democracy, we're not going to make it out of here alive. And that, you know, that empire, that fascism is coming home. So it's not only the rest of the world and the nuclear war that could be triggered in the blink of an eye, you know, it's also that war budget is starving us here. Over half of the American public cannot afford a roof over their heads, yet we could have rent control. We could liberate the housing right now. That housing exists right now. You know, there's so much that could be done right now that there is support for, especially if Black Power media, you know, had a bigger voice out there and we had a people-powered media out there. We could easily build consensus. And in poll after poll, you know, a whole bunch of referendums passed, even in this last election. There were referendums on behalf of public schools, increasing their budgets, you know, for public housing and for taxing corporations in order to provide that housing. You know, pulling back on student debt, there wasn't a referendum on that, but there's enormous, you know, for Medicare for all, there's enormous support for doing the right thing here, but we don't have a government that can do the right thing. So, you know, it's like, it's all of us or none of us, you know, and that means we have to end the war on Africa, you know, and the stripping of resources and the murderous, you know, the U.S. has so-called wars of, well, so-called special operations. We have special operations going on now in 85 countries, and much of that is in Africa. You know, so what's going on right now is absolutely unforgivable, unsustainable. It is impoverishing us here at home. It endangers the whole world. It creates incredible instability, like what Trump is trying to do right now, even in just taking possession of Gaza. I mean, this is just mind-boggling. Threatening to go to war with Mexico now over who knows what. I think it's immigration policy at the moment, or border policy. You know, the people running the show are the absolute predators, and they need to be removed from office as quickly as possible. So yes, hell yes, we have to stand up and fight for a democracy like our lives depend on it. Because in fact they do.
Right on. Kiana, you had something you wanted to say? Or?
Yeah, Dr. Stein, you mentioned U.S. Africa Command. You know, AFRICOM is a thing. The U.S. for some reason believes that they should have some command of Africa, but you also mentioned the stripping of resources from Africa. And I think it's important. I don't know if people heard you when you said that Donald Trump got all of his campaign funding, almost all of it from literally 10 people, right?
Right.
And these are people who run a lot of these companies that do strip resources from Africa. You yourself caught flack for donations that were seen on Open Secrets from Sony and Apple. These are technology corporations. I just got an advertisement from my phone company talking about get the new iPhone 16, like pre-order it. Explain to people why that stripping of resources from Africa even contributes to the genocide that is happening in Palestine right now, because a lot of people try to disconnect these struggles and all of the global oppression. But people need to understand that all of this money is going around in the same funnel to oppress people globally.
Yes. And let me say first that is a smear campaign. We actually don't take money from these corporations. There's also a smear that we take money from war contractors and that I have investments in war. These are smear campaigns. And in fact, they're distorting, they are distorting the information on Open Secrets. And what Open Secrets shows is who the employers of these people are. So yeah, some people who work for Amazon, people who work for corporate America, and the war contractors contribute to our campaign. But we do not take money from these corporations. And to your point, colonialism has always been about stripping resources and appropriating land, but it's especially been about all of the critical resources, whether it's aluminum or copper. This is what extraction is all about, even if it's fossil fuels. U.S. foreign policy has a name given to it by the Pentagon, which is called full spectrum dominance, that the U.S. will dominate basically all resources all around the world and all countries and all potential military threats. We will dominate. And part of that domination is about cornering markets, but it's very much about cornering resources. And the thing about cornering resources is that when you have, extractive, predatory industries that are in other countries where they're not regulated. We could be mining lithium in Maine, but we don't, because we don't want to pollute the water in Maine. We don't want to destroy the forests in Maine. So instead, we will destroy that in Latin America and in Africa. And that is basically what colonialism is all about, which is why colonialism has to end, which is why we cannot have a foreign policy, which is essentially a military enforcement of U.S. appropriation. And that's a really misleading way to say it. It's not about appropriating resources, it's about destroying food and water and land and human beings who are put to work, like in the mines of the DRC. We murdered, right? We murdered the original democratic leader, Patrice Lumumba, long ago when the DRC had a democracy, and we put an end to it. And this is the rule, not the exception, for what happens with U.S. foreign policy. And this has everything to do with the rapacious, predatory extraction of resources from other countries that just, it cannot be allowed. And, it has to be stopped. And we have to support the sovereignty and the integrity of Africa and its countries and get the U.S. military out of this murderous, genocidal exploitation.
No doubt. We appreciate that. I'm going to let Rakeem. Rakeem has a question, and we're going to let Dr. Stein go. I know she had a busy day, so we're grateful she came through. And I didn't tell her it was going to be an interview. She said you'll come through, give a shout out.
All the better.
I see folks writing down questions like that. And furthermore, go ahead, Rex.
No, I appreciate you, and definitely appreciate you, Dr. Jill Stein, for everything you do, and also coming on Black Power Media. We definitely appreciate you. All right, so when we look at Elon Musk and we look at Doge, right? This is somewhat unprecedented as far as a non-elected official wielding so much power in government. What are we actually looking at? What are we witnessing right now? And where do you think that is going?
We are really witnessing a very sick perversion of our democracy. I think there's a very good likelihood, and I don't know the details of all the laws that are being violated here, but there are so many. And, fortunately, the courts are standing up on many of these laws, and there's a bit of a tug of war. There's no doubt that Elon Musk cannot be doing what he's doing. He's basically acting as if he's a member of the cabinet, and he hasn't been nominated, and he hasn't been approved. And his public polling is absolutely in the toilet, even with Republicans. So there's no way that he will survive the light of day. And he's only, it's shocking and it's astounding that Donald Trump's judgment is so bad that he continues to flaunt Elon Musk, who is so obnoxious, so fascistic, so racist, so xenophobic, anti-Semitic, with his Heil Hitler and all that. He doesn't make any bones about his basic, fascist upbringing and worldview. He's a completely unapologetic, predatory oligarch. And he's completely, even MAGA is horrified at him. So his days are numbered, and he's going to go, I think it's just a matter of time till that catches up with him. And likewise for Donald Trump, his policies are so offensive to the American public and even to the MAGA base. So he is self-destructing really before our very eyes. It's only a question of time. And I think it's really important that we be heard, we be like South Korea, and that we be out in numbers and protesting, and not be co-opted by the Democrats, who are trying to get us to be good little boys and girls, and to put Democrats forward as the solution here. They're not, as Hakeem Jeffries himself said.
Right.
It's their government. It's their government. It's not. No, he's wrong. It's our government. It's not his government. It's our government. And yeah, so we got a lot of work ahead of us, which is why Black Power Media is really important, because we rely on alternative media to blow the whistle and to help us, inform us, how do we fight back? How can we come together? I think for the small grassroots parties of the left, the community-based parties, to be working together is really critical. France also overcame. How did Mexico? Mexico overthrew its neoliberal government that had really reigned for almost a century. And how did they do that? They did that by their small parties of the left coming together. First, it's just social movements. And they worked together as social movements for about 6 years. And then they started running. And like within 1 or 2 election cycles, they won the presidency. It was like so ready to happen. They also achieved campaign finance reform. I mean, they make us look so corrupt. We point to Mexico like it's corrupt and it's riddled with, it's a banana republic. No, we are the banana republic. We have no limits. We've got 10 billionaires basically who own our government right now, 10 of them. In Mexico, there's a campaign donation limit. It's like $115,000 or something, which is huge, but we have no limits whatsoever. You can be like Elon Musk and buy government with $250 million. And they also got media reform, believe it or not. Mexico achieved media reform so that you cannot buy media time in Mexico. You cannot conduct a propaganda campaign. So it's not easy to achieve that. It's going to be really tough. But we have models, at least, of other countries where people get together at the grassroots and they use their power. And it's just really important for us to remember that we have that power. And like Malcolm said, we are not, outnumbered. We're just out organized for the moment. And we have the power to overcome that. We just have to be really creative about it, and we need lots of Black Power media to help us get together and form the unstoppable alliance, like in France, where the right wing was going to win that last parliamentary election like 6 months ago, something like that, and they were beaten back because the left got together. And we need a lot of solidarity right now.
No doubt, Dr. Stein, we appreciate you sliding through, and you just made these two brothers that are currently in France all happy and whatnot. Is the yeah, we fought back, but we definitely appreciate you coming through and
my honor
and continuing to support Black Power Media. Stay safe, and we will see you soon.
Sounds great. Thank you. An honor to be with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you,
glad
Power.
to have you. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Be safe. Thank you. That was Dr. Jill Stein, friend to the platform. It's getting late, good people. You know, you all looking like, you know, like you're tired. Boona complaining because it's 1 o'clock over his way. You know, he gonna be on punishment, but it's cool. We still, you know, we'll write you a doctor's note and say that you was doing pretty good today. You know, you weren't doing well. We got you covered. But definitely we appreciate all the folks who've checked us out here today on Black Power Media. Make sure you like and subscribe. Indeed, you know, with the caliber of guests and the work and the politic that we bring to the platform, to these internet waves, you know, of course, we're not going to get 10 million followers and subscribers and all that type of stuff, because it's not that type of party, because we are speaking truth to power. In fact, we are the power. You know, so once we begin to really tap in and get a clear understanding of who and what we are, then and only then will we win. Love and appreciation to all of you. You know, any parting words you all want to have before we we let the audience go?
Yeah, just want to say that the Comrade Isaac sends all of his love, wants to congratulate Black Power Media Reloaded. He thanks you, Kalanji, for really helping through tough times. And for everybody here on this screen that is a believer of truth and liberation, I will leave you with his quote that says, "I shall take my voice wherever there are those who want to hear the melody of freedom," a quote by the great Paul Robeson. Thank you to Black Power Media and to everybody who's been watching today.
No doubt, no doubt. We definitely appreciate our brother Isaac, young gun. Isaac is 27 years old, just turned 27. We're grateful, you know, and he reminds me of days when we was out in the street just wilding, like, you know, we're mad, burn it down, so on and so forth. We thought it was gonna be revolution, just like our elders before us. We thought revolution was coming yesterday, last week, 10 years ago, whatever the case is. But the beautiful thing about this white hegemony is that folks like Trump, they will usher it in slowly. They are heightening the contradictions, and they will make sure that that we get on the right side of the barricades, because they're drawing the line in the sand right now. And it's a beautiful time to be a freedom fighter. It's a beautiful time to be a freedom fighter. We say, long live the spirit of Leonard Peltier. We say, long live the spirit of Dhoruba Ben Wahad. We say, long live the spirit of Mumia Abu Jamal and Kamal Siddiqui and all of those who came before us. And we will continue to fight, and we will win. We will win. We will be victorious.
That's right.
Because as Jill quoted a couple times, as far as Malcolm said, you know, we're not outnumbered, we're out organized. We will win despite ourselves. You know, so all we have to do is just get to that particular juncture where we recognize that we have more to lose than to gain when it comes to our infighting. You know, so I say salute to all of those who are true to the cause, all of those who are true to our people's liberation movement. You know, I am a proud card-carrying African, and I say that with no remorse, with no shame. I don't bow down when I say that, because of the fact that my people are freedom fighters. They resisted, and that's why we exist. You know, we have solidarity with oppressed people all over the globe. We have solidarity with fighters who are on the right side of the barricades. And no matter where you are on this planet, If you're a lover of true freedom, if you're a lover of true justice, if you're a lover of humanity, then we stand with you. But to those who wish to be enemies of the sun, we say, burn, baby, burn. Here we come. Revolution will not be televised, but Black Power Media is definitely authorized by the people. And we say we appreciate all of you for checking us out here today. Thank you, Boona and Fernando in particular, because Boona looked like he's about to fall asleep. He only came because he knew that Dr. Horne was going to be on here today. Otherwise, he said, "Man, what? Black Power Media? What you talking about? I'm watching CNN." Anyway,
well, you've been harassing me for 2 weeks.
I know. Yes, that's part of my job.
Today.
Now I'm harassing you. Anyway, hey, revolutionary love to you all. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and let's keep on winning. Frank, we appreciate you broadcasting from your Benz truck.
Yeah, U-Haul Benz edition.
U-Haul Benz edition. we got the playlist on the piece right now. Let me see if I can move us aside. Here we are. This is the playlist right here. This is what's going on. You can check this playlist out because some of you are probably like, man, the writing's too small. That's why you got to go download. You got to go to Patreon and download the latest edition.
You look on the other side, right?
The latest edition of Afropic magazine. So make sure you check it out. And here it is. You can see all the shows popping up on the screen. Shout out to May B in the back. Shout out to Isaac for all the work that he was doing. And we'll see you all soon. Appreciate y'all.
Peace.
Peace. Uhuru. Yes. Rise up. Black Power Media, we out. Black Power Media.